Hey besties, welcome back to the Cozy Corner. It's your girl Jen, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm a senior at Cal State Dominguez, and I love to read books, but if you're not new here, welcome back to the chaos. I think that's going to be my new intro, to be honest. It's less tongue-tied, and I will possibly, probably, maybe remember it more, and it'll roll off the tongue a little bit easier, but who knows. With that being said, in today's video, I'm going to be going over my April TBR. This month is going to be stacked. I'm going to attempt to do my best to read all of these books and maybe a little bit more if I have any time at the very end, but we shall see. So, that all being said, I did have ChatGPT give me a spoiler-free plot synopsis to go over all of these books, just because I don't have them on physical, so I can't technically tell you what they're about, unless I have somebody helping me like ChatGPT doing so. I personally love using ChatGPT. This is not an ad. Do not come for me. But I personally love using it for studying. It just kind of helps me out. I'll like give it a PDF and I'll be like, hey, break this down for me in words that easy to understand, and it'll do so. So if you guys are looking for a helpful study buddy when you're in college, high school, etc., definitely highly recommend, but you guys already probably know this. But that all being said, let's get into it. So the first book that I will be reading in April, hopefully it's going to be Live and Let Lionel. Apparently, this book is about Seth on the moon, the Live and Let Lionel universe. But the synopsis is that this novella is a chaotic, comedic side story centered on Seth Capella, the over-the-top, chaotic wolf heir. The story leans heavily into Seth's impulsive personality, his obsession with loyalty, pack dynamics and chaos, and ridiculous situations that spiral out of control. It's less about advancing the main war plot and more about character humor, relationships within the group, and giving insight into Seth's mindset and emotional layers beneath the chaos. The things to expect are unhinged energy, ridiculous decisions, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. Next book I'll be reading is Night, again in the Live and Let Lionel universe. This might actually be all in the same book. I'm not really sure. This is just what ChatGPT is giving me, but the plot synopsis of this one is the novella shifts tone a little bit, focusing on darker perspectives tied to the world of Solaria. It explores the shadowy power structures behind the throne, Lionel Acrux's influence and control, and the impressive systems shaping the characters' lives. Rather than action-heavy plot, it builds atmosphere, psychological tension, and insight into the antagonistic forces. To be honest, I'm currently reading Shadow Princess. I think it's one of the last 4 books that I have for the current Zodiac series that I plan to read for this month. And I just want to say, I'm not sure what book it is. Don't tell me. Although, to be honest, I'll probably read the comments after I finish the last 4 books. But please, like, Lionel Acrux needs to just off himself. I'm so sorry. I've never felt so like angry and hatred toward a specific character. We're like, Daddy Acrux, he needs to go. He absolutely needs to fucking go. Regardless, Live and Let Lionel apparently is the last book in the Live and Let Lionel book. I have no fucking idea, but regardless, the plot synopsis of this one is a multi-POV novella collection that reframes the events in the series, especially through Lionel A. Crux's perspective. It adds depth by showing the logic and delusion behind villain actions, political manipulation at the highest level, and hidden motivations that aren't obvious in the main books. Think of it as a behind-the-scenes look at the War for Solaria, and more context behind for why everything spirals the way it does. Getting back into the Zodiac Academy main series endgame, we have Fated Throne, which is book 6. Really interesting to think about because so far, like, I've already read technically 13 books for the current main series, and that's absolutely insane to think about. But moving on, this is apparently book 6 in the main series endgame. The synopsis is that the story escalates into full political and magical warfare. Darcy and Tori begin stepping into their identities as rightful rulers. Okay, so they will eventually take the throne. Hopefully, we shall see. They face increasing threats from Lionel and his allies. The key focus here is the power struggles for the throne, strengthening alliances and rising tensions between the heirs and the twins. The academy setting becomes less central as the fight for control of Solaria takes over. All right, cool. Next, we have Heartless Skies, book 7. Apparently, I think this is supposed to be read tandemly with another book, Sorrow and Starlight, I think. Maybe? I believe so. Who knows? Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Just kidding. Sorrow and Starlight and Beyond the Veil are supposed to be read tandemly, but we will talk about that in a second. So back to Heartless Sky. Apparently this book is about this book is where everything gets more emotionally brutal. The characters are separated, broken, and forced into survival situations. Honestly, one of the downsides, I'm bashing ChatGPT a little bit here, is because whenever you ask them to explain something, it loves to do things in threes. It'll be like, these characters are separated, broken, and forced into survival situations. The tone shifts to loss, desperation, and psychological strain. I don't know. I just feel like you could have just told me that with, like, I don't know, like the doing things in threes things. I don't know if that's just like an AI situation type of whatever the fuck it is, but like, it's kind of annoying, but moving on. The rebellion weakens while enemies tighten controls, creating a sense that hope is slipping away. So, moving on into Sorrow and Starlight and Beyond the Veil. Again, tandem read here. The synopsis is these are meant to be read together. We already know that. Sorrow and Starlight. In Sorrow and Starlight, the war reaches a breaking point. Characters are scattered and struggling. The rebellion attempts to regroup, and major emotional arcs revolve around survival and reclaiming power. The core theme here is rising again after being completely shattered. Beyond the Veil. In Beyond the Veil, the novella adds a parallel perspective, events happening beyond the physical realm, spiritual and magical consequences of the war, and insight into forces influencing fate itself. Together, they deepen the stakes of the war, the emotional weight of the loss and resilience. Next, we have Restless Stars. Apparently, this is the series finale. That's insane to think about. By the time I actually get here, I probably will be crying, to be honest, because your girl is an emotional person. That's just how it is. Synopsis of this one is the final installment brings everything together. The focus here is the ultimate battle for Solaria, the resolution of long-standing rivalries, and the characters fully stepping into their power. It ties up political conflicts, romantic arcs, and the fate of the throne and the world. Expect high stakes, emotional payoffs, and major character growth. Yeah, I can, yeah. No words need to be said here. Next, I'm going to be diving into the Darkmore Penitentiary series. My teacher actually right now has not currently read the book series, and she is asking me to do it for her to see if it is worth her reading. So I'll be setting into this. I will be diving into this. Apparently, this book is set after the Zodiac Academy series. This book follows a specific character, or the series follows a specific character that's introduced in the Ruthless Boys series. It follows Rosalie, and she develops a relationship with the guy who's 10 years older than her, but at the time she's only 14. So yeah, big red flag, but it doesn't delve into the relationship. But 10 years later is when the Darkmore Penitentiary series starts. So she's like 24 at this point, so totally legal. Between her and another character who's like 10 years older than her, but again, I have no idea what this book is about. So let's just dive into the plot synopsis for Darkmore Penitentiary. First, we have Caged Wolf. The synopsis, it follows Rosalie Oscura, a powerful and dangerous fae thrown into the brutal prison of Darkmore Penitentiary. She's also a werewolf. I don't know if it'll mention that, but we'll see. Inside, she faces violent factions, corrupt guards, and 4 dangerous alpha males she needs to survive. Her goal is to escape the prison, but to do that, she must form alliances with enemies, navigate power struggles, and assert dominance in a deadly environment. Alpha Wolf is the second book. Synopsis is the power dynamics intensifies. Rivalries between alphas explode, and mate bonds complicate loyalties. Escape plans begin forming. Oops. Themes are dominance versus loyalty, trust versus survival, and pack politics inside the prison. Feral Wolf, this is the next book. Chaos erupts, riots, betrayals, and escape attempts. The groups faces external threats and internal fractures. They begin executing a high-risk escape plan, and everything becomes faster, more violent, and more desperate. Wild Wolf, synopsis is that the final book focuses on life beyond the prison, so they clearly get out, consequences of everything that's happened, and rebuilding identity and relationships. Core themes here are freedom versus trauma, found family, and claiming power and future. This is going to mark the end of the official Zodiac series. I will say that it will have been a journey, and it has been a journey. I'm going to continue it. There's also apparently another like series that delves within the same realm of the Zodiac series, but it follows none of the same characters. I'm not sure if there's like any Easter eggs in there, but we shall see. I don't know if I plan to read these books anytime soon, but it was something that was mentioned before, and I was just like, oh, what's that? And so this is what it is, right? But I won't be reading that anytime soon. So like, besides the point, right? Last up, I thought it would be kind of fun to finish another series that I was actually reading this month, called the Never After series by Emily Mcintire. This entire series is just an interconnected standalone of like a big, like twisted, dark romance of a twist on the Grimm fairy tale. So like we had Captain Hook, we had clearly I didn't remember any of the plot synopses between these books. Like we had I think we had Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz or something like that. We had like Alice in Wonderland. But this last book is called Hexed or whatever. And you guys will, find out what it's about, I guess, by the plot synopsis. So I'm so sorry. I'm really sick still. I'm recording all these movies, all of these videos on the same day. The next 3 videos that are about to be released. I'm sick. It just is what it is, and I'm just trying to survive. But yeah, my voice is totally shot right now, so maybe I'll take a break between recording. But like I said, the plot synopsis is that this is part of the Never After series, which is a dark villain-inspired romance. The book follows a morally gray female lead tied to power, manipulation, and revenge. A dangerously dark romantic dynamic built on tension, controls, and desires. The story blends dark romance, power games, and psychological tensions. At its core, it's more about obsession, blurred lines between villain and victim. According to ChatGPT, final thoughts is my April is going to be insane in the best way because, of course, it is fucking awesome. I'm basically reading emotional devastation, war and payoff, dark prison chaos, and villain POV and extras, and a dark romance, of course. It also wanted me to. It wanted to give me a reading plan for the next 30 days, and I was like, why the fuck not? Yeah, who knows? I don't fucking care. But regardless, thanks for sticking with me. And those are the 13 books that I plan to read in the month of April. It is going to be stacked, but I'll be finishing an entire series. So far, I'm actually really liking it. Like, no thoughts of DNFing so far at all. Like, these books are just meant to be, well, my brain, I'm considering these like fun, silly, goofy. They're gonna like build up. Like, these obviously aren't super intense in the way that Throne of Glass is. Of course, that is my like god tier series. Nothing can top it. This is kind of like a very silly, like almost Monster High-ish in the way that everything is like just a bunch of like different order forms going to a college to do silly things. But of course, like Monster High, Fourth Wing, and like adult like fantastical and sexual concepts. That's what I'm thinking of it. So I'm just having a good time. I'm listening to a lot of them on audio. I will say the the main plot Zodiac series, if that makes sense, like the male voice line for all of the male figures in there, I'm not really a fan of him. He's kind of got this like nails on a chalkboard voice, and every time he comes on for any of the characters, even if I happen to find them attractive, like not Lionel Acrux, ew, gross, like Darius Acrux or freaking Lancer Ryan, like those are my main guys. But like when the voice comes on for them and they're speaking, the male is speaking like for their voices, I'm like, oh, gross, disgusting. I cannot. Like, this is supposed to be an emotional, like sexual tension type of scene, and I'm just like, oh god, turn his voice off or like switch to. I would rather, to be honest, I would rather like a female voice or a female voice actor do the voices for the male characters. I don't know if that makes sense, but regardless, if you like this video, go ahead and like the video. In the comments, put down what books you plan to read for April, and if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload a brand new video. I do try to upload every Saturday, but things happen and I do my best. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next Saturday. Bye guys.